Hello and welcome to another video. I hope that you're all very well. What is the number one reason that learner drivers fail their driving test? Well, the DVSA will tell you that it's observations. They get their information from thousands and thousands of driving test reports. However, nerves, stress, and anxiety are not listed on this report that driving examiners can mark. If they were, I can assure you that it would score high amongst the reasons why learner drivers fail. Every single one of us, including myself, we all occasionally get nervous before a major event. This event could be a theory test, a practical driving test, or a college exam. Getting nervous is normal. As a matter of fact, getting slightly nervous can actually be good for us. It helps to keep us alert and focused on the task that needs to be done. Nerves only become a problem if we worry about it unnecessarily, as this worry can become highly stressful and can lead to anxiety. Anxiety is a physical condition. You may feel like throwing up. Your muscles will tension. You'll end up holding the steering wheel unnecessarily tight. This will result in your steering becoming harder, so you'll find it harder to steer around corners, steer smoothly around the corners. Your foot may start shaking, resulting in jerky movements, uncomfortable drive. With your brain trying to cope with all these physical conditions, it'll take longer for you to process information. It'll take you longer to spot and react to hazards. If you are one of these people who get uncontrollably nervous, before you start looking for a solution, you need to ask yourself why. Why do you get nervous in the first place? You need to analyze the situation. There are 3 reasons why a learner driver gets uncontrollably nervous in the driving test. The first of these reasons is because they don't know what to expect. They worry unnecessarily. They have thoughts such as, I wonder if I'll be taken on the dual carriageway. Or, will the examiner take me on that busy roundabout? Or, I wonder what maneuver I'll be given. Then you have the second category, is learner drivers who dwell on the past. They may have taken a test before, and they have thoughts such as, I wonder if I'll be having the same examiner. If so, will they recognize me? Will they remember the awful mistake I made last time? Then you have learner drivers, finally, who worry about the future. They have thoughts such as, if I fail my driving test, how am I going to get to uni? Who's going to drop the children off to school if I fail? There are steps that you can take to prevent your nerves from becoming overwhelming and eventually leading to anxiety. However, before we discuss these, let me introduce you to this book. The book is called Overcome Your Fear of Driving. The book is available on Amazon as an audible or as an ebook. The book has been written by me and is for you if you have any form of driving fear. This could be fear of learning to drive, fear of driving after an accident, or any other aspects of fear such as roundabouts or dual carriageways. You can buy this book, or you can try an Amazon subscription to Audible or Kindle. If you cancel the subscription within a month, you can still keep the book completely free of charge. The link to the book is in the text below. If your nerves, if your stress, anxiety is starting to affect your performance, then there are a few things that you can consider doing. Firstly, consider taking a mock test with your driving instructor. Better still, ask a driving instructor to arrange a mock test with one of their colleagues, with someone that you have never met before. By doing a mock test, you can get familiar with the format of the driving test. You can get familiar with the silence in the car, and at the same time you can know what your weaknesses are and work on your weakness. The second thing that you can consider doing is visit the driving test center. Get familiar with the car park. Familiarize yourself with the waiting room. You can even meet the driving examiners. However, please remember that most driving test centers will not allow you to park your car in the test center car park between 5 to 10 minutes before the start of your driving test. So you are advised to park outside the test center and walk to the test center. It's also a good idea to familiarize yourself with the few roads around the test center, because when learner drivers fail their driving test, they often fail within the first few minutes of the driving test or the last few minutes of the test. The third thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is to make sure that you are fully prepared. You should be able to drive without any assistance from your driving instructor. You should be able to do the maneuvers on your own. If you get the maneuvers wrong, it's not a problem. You can go forward and correct the mistake. But again, do not wait for your driving instructor to ask you to correct it. You need to be able to do everything on your own. Do not go for the driving test until you are fully prepared. That way, it will make no difference whether the driving examiner takes you onto a busy dual carriageway or a busy roundabout. It will make no difference to you whichever maneuver the driving examiner gives you. In fact, be prepared for all the maneuvers. Expect them all, and you should be able to pass without any problems at all. Make sure you take a small bottle of water with you. And it's no point just taking the bottle of water and leaving it in the car. During the driving test, the examiner will ask you several times to pull up on the left and then to drive off for no apparent reason, or it may seem like to you as for no apparent reason. But when the driving examiner asks you to pull up on the left, you can use this as an opportunity to take a small sip of water if needed. The fourth thing that you want to consider doing is keeping your driving test a secret. Avoid telling anyone unless you have to do so. If you tell one person about your driving test, you may feel under pressure that you do not want to let that person down. You may feel under pressure to please this one person. However, if you tell 100 people, you may feel the pressure to please 100 people. Talking about pressure, another thing to consider is avoid doing a driving test when you have other stressful factors happening around you. For example, if you have college or university exams to prepare for. The fifth thing is to consider the hour before the test as a warm-up and not as a driving lesson. It can't be a driving lesson because you've learned everything, or you should have learned everything by then. It's just a warm-up, so you meet the instructor and just go for a chilled drive. Have a conversation about something positive that is happening in your life. If you do make a mistake in this hour before the test, don't worry. Just laugh it off and say, well, I'd rather make the mistake now than in the driving test. The other thing that you want to consider, which may seem obvious, is to focus on your driving. Focus on the present situation. Focus on what's happening in front of you. Don't think about the past and don't think about the future. It's no point thinking what you're going to be having for dinner whilst you're doing your driving test. And it's no point thinking about your previous driving test or what happened in previous driving lessons. If you do make a mistake in the driving test, then it's not up to you to decide whether that is a pass or whether that is a fail. It is up to the driving examiner to decide on whether that is a mistake or not. And if it is a mistake, whether that mistake is a minor fault or a serious fault, that's up to the examiner. The examiner has a job to do. He or she will do that job. You have a job to do, which is to drive safely, to focus on your driving and demonstrate that you can drive safely. So you should focus on your job. Although earlier on I said that it is an advantage to know the first few roads around the test center, that doesn't mean that you have to learn the whole route, that you have to know all the test area. Knowing the test area is not important to passing the driving test. The driving examiner will direct you throughout the test, apart from the independent driving section, during which you will either be given directions from a sat-nav or you'll be requested to follow road signs and road markings. During that section of the test, if you were to go in the wrong direction, it would not be marked as a mistake, not even a minor fault. You will not fail the driving test, provided you continued to drive safely. Well, I hope you found this video beneficial. If you have, then I have a request. Please share this video with at least one person. Sharing it with somebody else will help me to expand the channel. Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.